Evidence of this can be seen in the monastic settlement of Anna, to the west of Blennerville, reputed to be the birthplace of St. Brendan the Navigator. The now ruined church is a fine example of early Irish Christian architecture. Formerly known as Cahill Warren, the seat of the big streams, Blennerville takes its English name from the Blennerhassett family, one of the many English families who settled here during the Munster plantation in the late 16th century. As the first Baron of Blennerville, Sir Roland Blennerhassett developed the economy of the area. He ordered the construction of the windmill, which was completed in 1800, and this, in conjunction with the previously established quay, enabled Blennerville to develop as a port and a milling centre. The introduction of new corn laws in 1784 by the then First Chancellor John Foster had granted bounties on the importation of grain to Britain. Thus, the flourishing milling industry increased the general economic activity of the area, and Blennerville became the chief port for Tralee and its hinterland. The traditional pastoral farming practices gave way to an increase in the amount of land being given over to tillage. And the rich soils of the area produced excellent quality grains for the English market, where demand was high due to the Industrial Revolution. However, the situation of the Irish peasants and tenant farmers remained unchanged. With entire families surviving on tiny plots of land, their diet consisting of oatcakes and potatoes. Widespread hunger and deprivation were well known between harvests, but the winter of 1845 saw the start of the Great Famine, when blight destroyed the potato crop. It was the blackest period of Irish history, when over 1 million people starved to death. No longer able to survive on the land or pay rent on their holdings, tenants were evicted and left to the mercy of the state, and whatever other charity was available. Government relief was hopelessly inadequate. Workhouses were dangerously overcrowded, and diseases such as cholera and typhoid were rampant. For the more able-bodied, emigration was the only option, and Blennerville became North Kerry's main embarkation point for those destined for the New World. The journey was long and arduous, and many failed to survive. Conditions on board ship were squalid, and medical attention for the sick and dying was almost non-existent. In time, these emigrant vessels became aptly known as coffin ships. By 1850, the worst had passed. About 1 million people had died, and over 1 million had emigrated. The protectionist corn laws had been repealed in 1848, and cheap supplies of American grain flooded the English market. The windmill gradually fell into disuse. The construction of the Tralee-Blennerville Ship Canal transferred trade from Blennerville to Tralee. In 1885, the opening of Fenit Pier finally marked the end of Blennerville's life as a port, and the introduction of a rail link between Tralee and Dingle meant that the village was even further bypassed. The windmill, by now an unsightly shell, was used as a piggery for a while in the 1950s. In 1981, it was bought by Tralee Urban District Council, and the lengthy restoration process began. FOSS, the Irish Industrial Training and Employment Authority, provided the skilled labour needed, and the Urban District Council invested the money necessary to restore the windmill to its former working condition. The involvement of FOSS through the Community Youth Training Programme gave young trainees from the local community invaluable experience of a wide range of skills, such as stonemasonry, carpentry, joinery, various engineering skills, and plastering. This involvement by FOSS through the local community made the entire project possible. Professor Fred Hammond of Queen's University Belfast an expert in industrial architecture was consulted to ensure the accurate reconstruction of the mill. The Blennerville Windmill Committee was formed to coordinate the restoration and eventual running of the mill and visitors center. The Blennerville Windmill is the only fully commercially operated mill of its kind in Ireland.
That's all right. Is it? Looks like that. Yeah, yeah.
In addition to the mill, a visitor center has been built, incorporating a range of craft shops, a restaurant, and an immigration exhibition. Among the many interesting exhibits on display are passenger lists from the immigration ships which sailed from Blennerville Quay, navigational equipment, and detailed accounts of conditions on board those infamous coffin ships. Blennerville Windmill is a wonderful example of community cooperation and what is possible when skills and expertise are shared. The Blennerville Windmill and Visitor Centre both stand as testimony to the history of the area and as a symbol of the new lease of life given to the locality.
Very good.